What if Shinsuke Nakamura won the WWE title at WrestleMania 34? Welcome everybody to the BrewCrew channel. My name is Hayden Brewer and welcome back, finally, for the first time in months since I've done the last video, to part 7 of WWE What If. Of course, it was a while ago when I did part 6, but of course I've been doing other videos and just hadn't had a chance to finally do this one. Well, I actually scratched that. I have had chances to make this video, just hadn't edited them. I made a video months ago before I went on like a big big trip where I was out for like a week and a half. So I wasn't able to like record, but I recorded videos and I was able to like edit and get 2 out. And one of the videos I recorded was this video of part 7 of WWE What If. So I was just gonna wait until after, and then I never got a chance to record it. So a while ago I recorded again, but when I was about to edit, I listened to the audio, and the audio sounded like this. My voice was echoing because on my mic, this mic, sorry if it sounds loud because I'm picking it up, has an echo meter on it. Of course, I just turned it down if you hear my voice not echo anymore. So apparently the notch was up just a little bit to where the whole video was my voice echoing. So there was no way for me to try to record it, so I was just going to wait until another time to record it, which is right now. So with that out of the way and this long intro, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell for future upcoming videos and hopeful future upcoming videos for this series as well. Now, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into WWE What If Part 7. Get into it. Now, WWE What If Part 7 will mostly be Royal Rumble to WrestleMania 34. Now, I actually want to say real quick, I didn't say it in the intro, but I do want to say real quick, if some of you guys do not know or even remember, this What If series, of course, mostly dates back in this timeline universe that I am doing all this in, back to 2015, with one key event changing a lot. I know it's a lot, but I just did it just cause. And mostly it revolves around Seth Rollins' injury back in 2015 when he injured his knee. Because, of course, there was plans for him going into WrestleMania 32, so I kind of did a what if, and it mostly has now transpired into a multi-part. I only done 12 parts of this, which will stop in 2020 at WrestleMania 36, because I didn't want to go until today, because that was definitely a lot too much writing. Like this is my paper right here. This is all the writing that I did. There's a lot more pages as well, so I wasn't going to do more parts or go until today because that would just be too much to change, so I just went until 2020, until WrestleMania 36. Anyway, so I kind of have that little recap. So at this point, really, some of the real-life things are still the same. Brock Lesnar's Universal Champion and AJ Styles is WWE Champion. If you guys want to kind of find out what happened before and all that, definitely go check out the other parts. I will leave a link in the description to the playlist, and of course I will have at the end of the video the previous part 6, if you guys want to go check that out. If you guys want to just skip to the end of the video just so you can get to that video, or just go to the playlist, definitely do that. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the first show of part 7, which is Royal Rumble 2018. Now, of course, usually what I do this is I talk about the keep matches, but there, of course, are the change matches. First, let's start with the keep matches. Keep matches being Usos versus Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin in a 2 out of 3 falls match for the SmackDown Tag Titles. Usos would retain in a clean sweep, as they did in real life. And, of course, I would also keep the 2 Rumble matches. Nothing would change in the matches. Maybe some participants in the men's, because, of course, there's a bug in my room, and it's flying around, and has been bugging me. Pun intended. But both winners would stay the same. The Women's Rumble, which of course would be the first ever Women's Royal Rumble at this point. Of course, like in real life, Asuka would win that, and of course Shinsuke Nakamura would win the Men's Rumble. Of course, would go on to challenge AJ Styles for the WWE title. But going on to the change matches, at this point, Dean Ambrose wouldn't get injured or want to leave the company or anything. He would still be a part of WWE. But this would be one of the last times we would see him and Rollins as a tag team, as the Shield, as they would challenge the bar for the Raw Tag Team titles. They would fall short, sadly. Maybe a little bit of tension between the two, and they would kind of part ways after this point. Maybe it's some more tension in the Rumble match or whatever, you know. But the bar would retain the Raw Tag titles, and at this point we'd see, like I said before, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins kind of split apart. The WWE title match would be different instead of a 2 out of 3 football match because, of course, if you guys know, Kevin Owens never really appears on SmackDown, mostly because he was Universal Champion on Raw. So there was that other stuff. Again, go back to watch the other videos if you guys want to get caught up, because it's just a lot of stuff, because, of course, I took too long to try to make this part, and there's just a lot to really say that I don't want to say in one video because this video is going to be long. Anyway, but instead of that, Sami would still kind of be involved with this match and sort of a rivalry sort of thing, really, with Sami Zayn and all that, wanting to go after the WWE title. Goes over the WWE title one-on-one match with AJ Styles. Amazing one-on-one match, both amazing chemistry and amazing athletes between the two, of course. AJ Styles, of course, would retain the WWE title as, of course, he goes on to still fight Nakamura. The final other change match, of course, would sort of be a keep match, as it would still be a triple threat match for the Universal title with Brock Lesnar and Strowman. But instead of Kane, I would have the other former Universal Champion, Kevin Owens, kind of rekindling his rivalry with Brock Lesnar. If you guys don't know that, watch the other parts. They had a match at SummerSlam. But the match would sort of be the same like in real life, just replace the spots with Kane and do spots with Kevin Owens and all that. But Brock Lesnar would win, pinning Kevin Owens, and would win, still be the Universal Champion. And that, of course, is Royal Rumble 2018. Next, of course, around this point, if you guys also don't remember, around this point, 2017, like 2016, all of 2017, a little bit at the beginning of 2018 before WrestleMania 34, WWE were doing just the branded pay-per-views, like Raw had a pay-per-view and SmackDown. Well, these two were technically the last ever branded pay-per-views. First being the Raw branded Elimination Chamber 2018. Starting off with our keep matches, the first ever Women's Chamber match, which I believe, if I can remember correctly, did have Alexa Bliss as champion, Sasha, Bayley, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, and Mickie James were the 6 participants in the first ever Women's Chamber match. Bliss would win and retain her women's title. Jax versus Rumble winner Asuka would still happen as well. And just so there was a good amount of matches on this show, Titus Worldwide, Titus O'Neil, and Apollo Crews would face off against the Bar for the Raw Tag titles. Bar would retain. Enough said for that. Mostly 2 kind of keep matches. I made this match just random so I could kind of put him on the show and couldn't think of anything else. Dean Ambrose would go one-on-one with Elias, and Dean Ambrose would win. It's just a random match that I thought of that could happen, but well, I don't know. Random one-on-one match that would probably happen. This was back in 2018. Anyway, so the men's chamber match would kind of be the same, to be the first and only chamber match to have 7 participants. Those participants would change, though. The only key participants would be Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman, and The Miz, who would still be Intercontinental Champion, and Finn Balor. If you guys do know that Finn Balor was initially with SmackDown in the previous parts, but I think around this point he would probably either in a trade or just randomly switch over to Raw, mostly because I still wanted him to participate in that WrestleMania triple threat match. So it is what it is. It is what it is. He's a part of Raw now, and he's in this match. The only 2 new participants in this match would be Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens, where in the match there would be rekindling rivalry between the two. If you guys don't remember, they've had a big main event at WrestleMania 33, the previous WrestleMania, for the Universal title. Definitely go check out that part as well. I definitely enjoyed that part as well. But that, of course, would be the main event, and the winner would stay the same, with Roman Reigns winning and going on to face Brock Lesnar for the Universal title at WrestleMania. Next is the last SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view, Fastlane 2018, with a good amount of keep matches, first being the Usos and New Day, rekindling their rivalry, but still would end in a double disqualification by the Bludgeon Brothers. Charlotte Flair versus Ruby Riott for the SmackDown Women's title, with Charlotte Flair retaining. Bobby Roode, he would change his name to Robert later on, but Bobby Roode would defend his United States title against Randy Orton. Yes, Randy Orton would still win just to become a Grand Slam champion, but yes, he would still win the U.S. title. And the Men's Rumble winner, Shinsuke Nakamura, would face off against Rusev, who, of course, would be getting big traction by the fans because of Rusev Day. But he would still lose to Nakamura here at Fastlane. One new match I kind of added to it was another Asuka match. Asuka would face the Miss Money in the Bank Carmella, and probably that match would happen before Ruby and Charlotte, as of course after Charlotte and Ruby match, she would of course come out and say that she wants to challenge Charlotte for the Women's Championship at WrestleMania, setting up that historic first time ever match. But the main event would sort of be the same, as AJ Styles would have his toughest defense yet on the road to WrestleMania in his six-pack challenge match, defending against John Cena, Baron Corbin, Sami Zayn, and Dolph Ziggler, but would be replaced by a returning Bray Wyatt. At this point, Bray Wyatt would also mostly just be a part of SmackDown. He wouldn't go to Raw, mostly not until we get to WrestleMania, which we'll get to that in a minute. But the six-pack challenge would be the same, just replace the spots and new spots with Bray Wyatt now being in the match and all that. But Styles, against all odds, would come out on top and keep his match against Shinsuke Nakamura at WrestleMania 34. Now, with WrestleMania 34, I want to actually do something a little bit different for this one, as I actually want to start off with the change matches, then get to the keep matches. Of course, WrestleMania 34 kind of holds a special place in my heart, because this was not only my first WrestleMania I went to, this was also the very first show I ever went to that was WWE. It was a Christmas present by my parents, gave it to me, went with my dad and some of my friends. It was an amazing, of course, definitely not one of the best WrestleManias looking back at it, but looking back at it, for me, it was definitely an amazing experience. Of course, upset about them not doing in New Orleans the next upcoming year. Of course, going back to Vegas, but hopefully we'll get WrestleMania back in New Orleans one day. But anyway, back to, of course, the video. Let's start off with the change matches, but then get to the keep matches, because I do have some changes to the keep matches, though. Change matches, however, of course, sort of a keep with this one, as Braun Strowman would sort of be the one to challenge the Bar for the Raw tag titles, but would have to have a mystery partner. Excuse me. But instead of him having a freaking kid as a tag team partner, I'll never forget that moment of him literally going into the WWE Universe and getting a kid who was the son of a WWE referee and winning the freaking tag team titles. But I would actually have like Bray Wyatt make his return. Of course, I'm looking back at it, this does like now confuse people of like, okay, what about the Deleters of Worlds, with Matt Hardy? Matt Hardy would probably still win the Andre the Giant Royal Rumble, maybe with Jeff Hardy returning and the Hardy Boys reuniting of somehow, but I don't know. I wasn't really thinking at this point. But Bray Wyatt versus the Bar, and I would still have the Bar losing, and this time having Braun Strowman having the tag titles with Bray Wyatt instead. So there's that. Next would sort of be a keep like scenario with Daniel Bryan coming back and being in remission to come back to the ring and be, of course, a wrestler again. But instead of being in a tag team match with Shane McMahon, he would actually go one-on-one with Sammy. This, of course, goes back to what I was talking about with Sammy. Sammy does go into that heel turn that he did back in 2018 in real life, just not, of course, with Kevin Owens, just kind of by himself, because he just started to get tired with the commissioner and general manager, who was, of course, Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. But I feel like they would have a really great one-on-one match. But the match would kind of be the same outcome as the tag team match. Daniel Bryan would win and win his first match back. Of course, happened to be in New Orleans, where he had his biggest moment at WrestleMania 30. So that, of course, would sort of still happen, just it being a one-on-one match instead. The next match I did want to do because I feel like it would be a great story moment, and that would have Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens 2. This time, kind of the roles flip. Kevin Owens sort of started turning into a heel, and Jericho starting to turn into a babyface, trying to get over what he did back when he was a heel. But Kevin never really forgave. gave him, and mostly kind of the roles would be flipped, but an interesting story would be told. But this time, amazing match as well, probably almost better as their match at WrestleMania 33. And Jericho this time would come out with the win, a big WrestleMania win. And also, yes, at this point, Jericho would still be a part of WWE. He wouldn't go to Japan or, of course, go to AEW, which I would say, yes, would still start because, of course, Cody still being out. Just Chris Jericho wouldn't be one of the big names, or even Jon Moxley, who is Dean Ambrose, since Dean Ambrose is technically sort of still in this universe as well, in my eyes when I was writing it. So those are, speaking of Dean Ambrose, I wanted to put like another sort of random match, mostly just to have him and have Samoa Joe. So I ended up putting a big match between him and Samoa Joe, maybe in a no DQ match of sorts or whatever. But yeah, that match would also go down. Nothing much would happen. Probably Dean Ambrose would win as well. Next, going with the keep matches. Of course, mostly going to go through some of the keep matches. Of course, keep the triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship with Seth Rollins winning against Finn Balor and The Miz. The SmackDown Tag Team Triple Threat match with the Bludgeon Brothers, Usos, and New Day, with the Bludgeon Brothers winning and become the Tag Team Champions. The Raw Women's title with Nia Jax winning against Alexa Bliss. The SmackDown Women's title would also still happen, and yes, Charlotte would still win, mostly because I didn't want Asuka to win, but then it made me think about, okay, well, when is Carmella going to cash in? Because, of course, at this point, she's missed Money in the Bank. So I just kept Charlotte winning, and then, of course, kept the scenario of her losing the title to Carmella on the SmackDown after WrestleMania. So that, of course, would still happen as well. And Asuka would lose her undefeated streak at WrestleMania to Charlotte. Sadly, even though I did have that be a big change as well to a keep match, but one of my first big changes, the Fatal 4 match for the U.S. title, Randy defending against Bobby Roode, Jinder Mahal, and Rusev. I really wanted Jinder Mahal to win. I think still the right choice should have been Rusev. So at this point, I'm going to change it. Rusev would go on to win, become the United States champion instead of Jinder Mahal. Because I think it would have been an amazing pop from the crowd, of course, because I remember everybody was chanting Rusev Day in that Superdome. It was crazy, but of course when he lost and Jinder Mahal won, which still to this day I never understand the push that guy got. I still don't. But I feel like Rusev would have been the best option, and gonna go ahead and give it to Rusev at this point. And then another keep match I'm going to change. Of course, these next two keep matches are, of course, the big World Championship matches. But actually, wait, I'm now just remembering. John Cena versus Undertaker would still happen, but a little bit of a change to that. Taker would still win, but the match would be a little bit longer and a little bit better instead of it just being a squash match. So I just want to go ahead and say that. Almost forgot about that one. But then moving on to the two championship matches. First for the WWE Championship, which, of course, is what this video is titled. Maybe better booking for that, maybe that co-main event or something. But the match would be a little bit much better. Story would still go in. Match would be a little bit much better. And this time, Nakamura would win, becoming the WWE Champion. And maybe, yeah, a sort of twist at the end, this time with Styles becoming the heel and turning on Nakamura. And now, of course, Nakamura being the new champion and the babyface. Mostly also showing that this rivalry is going to continue, just in a much better way than what they did in real life. And in my eyes of what they could have done and what they should have done with this rivalry a little bit. But then moving on to the main event, which of course, not everybody's favorite main event, because of course at this point, everybody not only hated Brock Lesnar for being a part-time, never show up champion, but also everybody freaking hated Roman Reigns, especially back in his big dog days, where he just was hated for being booked so much. But sorry for you back then, Roman Reigns haters. I was probably one of the only ones who actually liked Roman Reigns when he was the big dog, and just didn't really care about or really know why he got so much hate. But looking back at it now, I do know. But anyway, the only change I would have, match would be a little bit much better, crowd would be a little bit much better, but I mean maybe the crowd would be the same. I don't care. But the match would be a little bit much better, maybe much better than like the WrestleMania 31, but still have like the almost so many F5s and kickouts and all that. But this time, Roman would win, finally become Universal Champion, become Universal Champion not at SummerSlam but at Mania. and go on to have a little bit longer reign as Universal Champion, kind of giving you a tease for the title of next video, of next part. So yeah, Roman would win at WrestleMania, not at SummerSlam, and that of course will end off WrestleMania. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I know probably a lot of stuff I said in this video, because of course again this was my first WWE What If video that I have made in quite some time. Sorry for the wait and all that. I know definitely did not want to wait this long, but I had other ideas for videos, and other personal stuff was also coming up as well, so never really had the chance to get a video out in time or whatever, so but anyway, if you guys did enjoy this video, definitely let me know in the comments down below if you guys enjoyed, and also if you guys did enjoy, hit that like button, leave a like, of course. We'll definitely appreciate it and definitely help the channel as well. And so yeah, so hopefully I won't wait multiple months again to make another What If part again. So hopefully within the next few weeks, maybe next part will come out, but we'll see. Next week or two, I would hope, hopefully, I don't know. Anyway, but again, if you guys enjoyed, hit the like button like I said before, and also if you guys are new to the channel or haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell for future upcoming videos to the channel, and also future videos on this series. Again, also for the series, if you guys want to get caught up, link is down in the description below to the playlist, and also again at the end of the video, you guys can go straight ahead and go straight to the next, or not the next, or the previous What If video to kind of get caught up. But again, those things are there. Definitely go check those out. And with that out of the way, hope you guys have an amazing, blessed day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.